Welcome into Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Curado Insurance. Ricky Bo, Ashlyn Sullivan here with you, and we talked about it pregame. You didn't want to see the goggles and the champagne for the Atlanta Braves. The Phillies lose this one to the Braves. The Braves now their sixth straight NLCS title, and they're a good team, Ricky. You need to play your best ball in order to limit that champagne from flowing.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, going into this game, you would think the Phillies would have put up more than one run, but they mustered nothing. As a matter of fact, all their hits were all singles. That's not exactly the way that you wanted to go out against the Braves in this game. And, I mean, quite frankly, the Braves look like a better team today. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Spencer Strider was really good. I thought they had him on the ropes early, and then all of a sudden those ropes disappeared, and he was out there dealing again. And it was one of those things where in the first inning it looked like the Phillies were really patient against him, making him work, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off of that, and it was back to chase, and he had pretty much an easy time of it the rest of his time in the ball game. And as for Christopher Sanchez, I thought he was really good. I think he made some mistakes early. That's almost like jittery to me. It's almost like he's going up against a team he's never seen before, which is true. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you're going up against a team that could hit a home run any given point. And it almost looked like he was a little tentative in that first inning. He ends up giving up a pair in the first. And, you know, that was more or less the ball game.
Right. And, of course, there's some pressure there. And we now go to John at Citizens Bank Park. And, John, we were talking about this offense. It was clicking the past couple of games, and it really didn't show up today. But a lot of that has to do with the great pitching we were just talking about.
Yeah, Spencer Strider's one of the best in the game. And, you know, he's one of those guys that they had a chance early to get to him. And when they didn't, yeah, you just didn't feel like there was going to be a good outcome to this game. And you just hope he would have been out of the game earlier because of the high pitch count the first couple innings. But, you know, the bullpen for the Braves was shutting them down tonight. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is with Spencer Strider. He's going to challenge you with fastball, slider. He threw a couple changeups here and there. But, you know, the guy just is overpowering. If you don't get him early, you probably don't get him.
The Phillies a bit of a missed opportunity here, now only a game and a half above the Cubs. And, Ricky, they started this game 2 games ahead, so kind of a bummer.
This is starting to look a lot like last year's Phillies versus the Brewers last year. This is exactly what was happening last year. One team lose, the other team would lose. One team would win, the other team would win, which right now would probably be great for the Phillies. If the Cubs want to follow the suit the whole way out of here right now, I think the Phillies would be happy with that. But, I mean, you know, you went up against the Braves, and nothing really happened in the standings. So I guess you take nothing out of that. You go through the series, you wash your hands of this one. You get ready for St. Louis. And the reason why I say you get ready for St. Louis, they're going to want to treat you poorly. You went into St. Louis last year. You took their wild card right out of their home field advantage. They're not going to be happy with that. They're going to try to knock you off.
Definitely did his part. And, Ricky, now when you look at this matchup and the possibility of maybe seeing the Atlanta Braves again, they now drop to 3-7 against the Braves. What would you want to see differently if this is the case?
I think shore up the starting pitching. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. The Phillies were down in this series way too much early on. Yeah, I think everybody thinks it's great that they had this comeback ability. You don't want to play in games like that. You don't want to have to come back from 5 runs down every night. Even with you have your ace on the mound and you're looking up at a 6-1 lead for the Braves. You know, you want to see Zach Wheeler pitch better. Obviously, Nola is going to be facing these guys when it's playoff time, so you need him to pitch well. You need a lot of things to go right to beat this team, but I don't think they're unbeatable. Not by the Phillies. I don't think the Phillies are intimidated by this team. Maybe some of the pitchers are because of the way they hit a little bit, but I just think the way you have to beat them is starting pitching. And because if you get to their bullpen already has in the back of their minds that these guys have gotten to us late. And that's a bonus for the Phillies.
Right, and you look at the Phillies, and you mentioned you don't even want to get to that pressured situation because they do have that come from behind, the fight that we all applaud, but especially the way these close games are going, they're not going to your side, so you don't even want to really go there.
Well, it's kind of it's kind of like you get an award for coming back and losing, which, I mean, it's fine that you could come back in games. But if you get off to good starts, let's say your starting pitching gets off to good starts, you know they're not going to hold the Phillies down all that long. Because I think I said this yesterday, and John just said it, these are mirror images of each other. If you look at these teams, you could literally place player to player of back and forth of what these teams are. And I'm including almost the starting pitching and the relievers. You have two almost identical teams. Obviously, a lot more career years this year for the Braves. But I don't think the Phillies are intimidated by this team whatsoever. I think it'll take a little bit of pitching and for the offense, the Stars, to really kind of kick it in gear.
Very interesting. Let's now go back to Citizens Bank Park and hear from manager Rob Thomson.
Schwarber was at
36 pitches after first, yeah.
Up there with 2 men on base. I mean, do you guys feel like you kind of had him on the edge there and missed an opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we had good at-bats in the first inning and got that pitch count up, and that's what they say you got to do to a good pitcher. You got to get him early, and we let that inning get away and couldn't recover, but he settled in and did a great job.
How do you feel about this series? You lost 3 out of 4. 2 of them are close, but close doesn't
All
matter.
close games, yeah. I mean, all close games. We could have. I mean, really, on the entire homestand, they're all close games. We could have won any of those games. We just came up short, so we got to get after it in St. Louis.
What did you think of Sanchez?
He was fantastic. He really was. I mean, that kid, I'm so proud of him for where he's come from. He just pitched, and the changeup was electric. Filled up the strike zone. I think 66 of 96 pitches for strikes. 21 out of, what was it? 20 out of 31 first pitch strikes. He's locating his fastball. The changeup was really, all his pitches were good, and going through that lineup, who's really good, really tough on left-handed pitching, and all those right-handed hitters. He just did a great job, and the job he did tonight really kind of resets our bullpen with the day off tomorrow. And really helps them out.
His velocity seemed to even be up a little bit too.
It was.
Safe to say that you feel like he's making a start again for you next week?
Yeah, I would think so. If it's not, if we don't use like a spot starter or a opener or whatever you want to call it, but right now he's good on right-handers too. So.
What's the plan, I guess, with the rotation going forward then?
Well, we got just the next 3 days mapped out. It's Nola, Ranger, and Walker.
Monday, though,
And Wheeler on Monday. Then we'll figure it out from there.
What made you want to push him a little bit tonight? Was it just how he was pitching tonight versus his last start?
Yeah, he was pitching great, and we wanted to refresh the bullpen, and we were in a down game, so I just wanted to push him as far as I could.
How do you, I mean, it's like you lost 5 out of your last 7. How do you prevent this from spiraling even more at a time where, you're still in a good position, but you don't want to squander that?
No, we don't. And we got to get, like I said, we got to get after it in St. Louis. Get after those guys. So, and we'll bounce back. This group's resilient. They've been all year. I don't think it's going to affect their preparation or the way they compete. They're just going to go out there and play their game.
Turner here, a quiet night for him, 0 for 4, and this snaps his base streak of 23 games. So unfortunate for him, and unfortunate for the Phillies as they lose the Atlanta Braves 4-1 tonight. Let's now go back to the clubhouse and hear from Kyle Schwarber.
Never easy to see a team clinch on your home field, but given how that team has played, does that make it a little easier in terms of how good that squad is?
Yeah, I mean, they've been really good the whole year, and did we want it to be on our field? No, but they're going to have to do it somewhere, and the focus is on us still, and the keep pushing to the very end, and it's been we've been fighting back and forth this whole homestand, and those are the positive signs. So we keep pushing forward, and we got a big road trip coming up, and we'll see where we're at.
What do you make of you guys right now?
Huh?
What do you make of you guys right now? Last 5 out of last 7.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I think it's not like it's been non-competitive losses, right? So, you know, we've been in it every single game. So that's, like I said, that's the positive thing to look out of it. And you know, we gotta, you know, we're all gonna regroup, and we got the off day tomorrow. So get a little breather, refresh, and be ready for a big road series.
With the wild card coming up just now for this team, you know, the focus is for the rest of the season. How helpful is it to be single-minded and focused with this team and know what you have to do?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to make it in any way possible, and you know, so we're gonna make sure that every day that we're gonna be really prepared when we go out there, because we know what's at stake, and nothing's guaranteed, and we just got to keep pushing forward.
This is a Braves lineup that doesn't strike out a lot. What did you think of Sanchez's performance, given he was able to induce 10 strikeouts?
Yeah, I thought it was great. The way that he's been throwing the ball for us the whole year has been really impressive, and you know, you can't say enough about the maturity that he's had, and you know, from last year just to this year, and you know, that's going to be a key arm for us as we keep going down the stretch, and you know, hopefully we got all the confidence in him, and just like we do all of our starters, and but he's been doing a really good job.
Can you lean at all on last September, like now when you're talking to guys, like, you know, you guys did not have the greatest month end. You pull it together. Like, is there anything to take from that, or now is it totally different?
I mean, you always have experience, right? Experience is great, and when you can have things to lean back on, and we want it to be a different September. I don't think that we want it to be, you know, a September where, you know, we're, you know, losing and we're trying to find a way. You know, we want to flip the script, and we want to make sure that we're going to be, you know, taking care of business and playing our game. And you know, so the signs are there. Everything's there. The signs are there, and we just got to keep going out there and keep fighting and keep doing it.
You just heard Kyle Schwarber talking about pushing to the very end, and here it is, the road ahead presented by Defender. This makes this Cardinal series all the more important, Ricky.
It's all over. Look.
There it is.
That's the season right there.
Scary.
Kind of weird.
Exciting. All the things.
It's always different when we get to this time of year. Yeah, you got the Cardinals for 3. Keep your head up on this one. I mean, that would be my advice to the Phillies. Keep your head up. This team is not going to lay down for you just because you're the Phillies and you're better than they are. They are going to do everything they can, because they remember last year what happened on their home turf when you went in there in the wild card series and took the series.
Of course, Ricky. You look at those Friday starters quickly. Aaron Nola, what's the key?
Oh, how about get out of your own way? I mean, in all honesty, he's one of those guys that has some confidence, though, against the Cardinals. Last time he pitched against the Cardinals, he went 7 innings and 1 hit. So you would think maybe that will play well into his game on Friday. But it's also about limiting your pitches, getting deeper into the ball game. You can't have him done in 5 again.